Today I'm here with Adam Warso. Obviously, AJ sponsors the podcast and has been for over the last year. We really appreciate it, as
Year
in
and
we,
a half, yeah.
yeah, year and a half, as in we, my listeners too, even people who live in Ohio, they say, I want to eat at AJ's at some point. So I say, we're going to have to stop there at my graduation if I get to that point, which I should be.
You should be. You should be. We'll be
So,
here.
so really appreciate all that you've done for the show. Now that I'm 21, we can say this. What drink did you get me?
That is an Ashen Elm Sunset Cherry. It's a cider out of Indianapolis. You like it?
And you have to be 21 plus.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Which I am now.
I think that one is 6.5%.
Well, I'm walking home. So
Yeah,
don't
there you go.
worry.
Perfect. Perfect.
So take me through a little bit. Obviously, you went to Purdue. You have a co-owner as well at AJ's. You
He's
run.
back there running the kitchen while I'm out here now. So,
Wow.
yep.
So take me through a little bit. What made you want to go into the restaurant industry? Obviously, being in college, getting into the restaurant industry, it's a different thing.
Yeah, so we grew up in Chicago. We wanted to when we came to Purdue, we kept meeting people from Northwest Indiana, the region, Chicago, suburbs of Chicago, and there was just such a strong presence of Chicago around here. And as the years went on, our freshman year, sophomore, junior year, we just kept, kind of thinking about like, oh, when we go home, what do we bring back? What are the foods we go home to get that we can't get here in West Lafayette? And Jake was in the entrepreneurship class, Entrepreneurship 200, and you write a business plan for that class, and had the idea to write a business plan for a restaurant serving Chicago-style food. So we really came up with the idea to do hot dogs, Italian beef, and deep dish pizza. Well, after a little bit of market research, there's tons of pizza places around here that are great. When I was at college, I worked at Mad Mushroom right here on campus. And so I kind of do the delivery side of business, but we'll get to that. And we said, well, deep dish pizza is going to be $45 a pizza and take an hour to make. No one wants that around. It would be hard to sell that around here and make a comparable product to what they make up there. So we stuck with hot dogs, Italian beef, and our original plan was to just do almost like a food cart. But we wanted a retail location.
Kind of like Famous Frank's.
Like Famous Frank's, but we didn't want to have a cart. We actually wanted to have a storefront on Chauncey Hills. Everyone on campus knows it as the Target, but there was a spot there that was open with a window that opened up to the curb. And it was a Smoothie King in the front or in the back, and then just a little kitchen with a window. And we wanted that space, but the owner said, we don't want unhealthy food in
Wow.
this spot. So we were like, dang it. And we talked to him for forever, exchanged menus and everything. And then, so we found our first location down at River Market next to Silver Dipper. And because of the location, the business plan changed completely. They were willing to sign us 20-year-old kids a lease for 1 year with no financial backing, no personal guarantees, but that's about it. And it was an old Jersey Mike's.
Wow.
So it was already kind of set up to be a restaurant, so we knew the cost would be minimal. But because of that distance from campus and the bars and everything like that, we decided to be open full hours during the week, Sunday to Saturday, and add delivery, which turned out to be the business plan's cherry on top, because back in 2008, Grubhub and DoorDash didn't exist. You can get Chinese food, pizza, and Jimmy John's late at night. And at 3 a.m, we were the ones delivering burgers and fries. So that was kind of, the business plan went in 6 months from April when we finished school in Grand Prix to August when we opened. It changed completely. And that would have been our senior year. So that's how AJ's started. And then what you see now is 18 years of changes.
So
Way different.
wow. So take me through a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of restaurants in the area, a lot of good ones. I've always loved AJ's, even before this.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Why should somebody come here after a late night of studying, or a late night on their walk back from Neon Cactus, or somebody visiting for graduation? What makes AJ special?
So we've always, since the day one, we've always just used the same quality products. Nothing's frozen. We make most, I don't want to say all, we make about 75% of our sauces in-house, from the hot barbecues and the buffaloes to the ranch, Chipotle ranch. We use fresh ingredients, fresh ground beef. We use the same beef we bought in 2008 as we use now. we've adjusted sizes of burgers and pricing, but we haven't changed quality to chase a dollar. And it's kind of one of those things where we serve fresh food. We put care and quality into it. It's not made before you walk in the door. It's not waiting for you to come in. It's made for you. So one of the things, we just wanted to make it as customizable as possible and just as fresh as possible. So, and be available at any time of the day. So that's why you should come to AJ's, because we're making it for you.
And you do things like trivia night throughout the year.
Yep. This last year we tried comedy nights on Friday nights and Saturdays and Thursdays.
You might kick me out if I do that.
Well, it's everything's an experiment. It's with this concept of AJ's, of having beer and liquor and sports bar vibe. This
Food. That's still my favorite part.
And tons of food. We're not as delivery focused as we were in 2008 versus now because of DoorDash and Grubhub. They handle the deliveries and it's kind of expensive, but we want people to enjoy AJ's Fresh and in the store with our service, our great staff and everything. So we try to do trivia nights and comedy nights and give some entertainment while you're here getting a meal. Because, like I was telling you before we started recording, those tables that come in during graduation week, they've been coming in every Wednesday for the last 3 years on Wednesdays. I know their names, I know their faces, I know their team names. It's just like it's a relationship with the students.
So younger people show up because you can have 3 years of fun as well at AJ's.
Exactly. One day we'll be here for 75 years, just like the other mainstays on campus, Harry's and Triple X. So we'll be with them.
Love it.
Yep.
A couple other things. So these are kind of some fun fireball questions, not fireball shots. You've heard not fireball shots. Don't worry. That's water, by the way. So this is alcohol.
Yep.
But because AJ's has how many beers on tap? Obviously, this isn't a.
So beers and ciders, we have 10 right now, and then we actually have our house cocktail, which is one of our tap lines. And we have another tap line open for something else. We're experimenting with some stuff.
Wanted to fit that in there.
Yeah.
When we started the sponsorship, I couldn't talk too much about alcohol, but I'm 21 now, so there's no law broken. So take me through it. These are some back to fireball shots.
Sure.
Or fireball questions.
Sure.
Questions. What's the longest shift you've ever worked behind a grill? 12 hours, 18 hours?
Open to close. And that,
12 hours?
Oh, so openers get here at 9 a.m., 2 hours before we open. And I've been here from 9 a.m. until 5 in the morning. So I can't do the math.
20 hours.
Pretty much. I've been here for 20-hour shifts before.
I was going to get 16 or 18 before I interrupted on that
you're
one.
You're good.
2 other fireball questions. By the way, now I can do fireball shots down the road on the show.
Yeah.
I would always call them fireball questions. What is something that has always inspired you on this? It could be an appetizer, it could be a meal, it could be a drink, whatever it is.
On our menu specifically, so, obviously Chicago-style hot dogs and Chicago-style Italian beef have to be a unique way. We didn't invent that. That was invented in the 30s, the 20s during the Great Depression. It was, cheap meat made dressed up fancy. That's where those origins came from. But to go with that, gyros are a big thing. And so I'd say the Greek burger has to be one of my favorite burgers on the menu because we were going to do gyros, and at the time we're not a Greek restaurant, we're not a gyro restaurant. People love our gyros, and they're good, but we wanted to use that product in a different way. So we did. One day it was, his name was Mike. I still talk to him. I was in his wedding after he graduated and moved away. But we were sitting at the grill playing around with it, and we put gyro meat on a burger like it was bacon. And that started, I think, the best burger we have on our menu. So tzatziki sauce, tomatoes, onions, feta cheese, and gyro meat. And I think I've never seen another one anywhere else. And I always recommend that when someone asks me at the table.
And my last fireball question, obviously I've gotten to know you pretty well. What is something away from the grill, away from having to hire people, away from having to do finance and all that stuff? What is something you like to do in your spare time?
Ooh, I like working on anything automotive. I work on cars, trucks, bikes, go racing. Like that is a hobby of mine, and obviously my family. I spend a lot of time at home with them, but also they spend a lot of time with me out in the garage. So
Awesome. I'll sneak one little last question in. What's your favorite car of all time?
car of all time, man.
And sports team, since you're a Chicago guy. Two little ones.
I would say favorite sports team. That's Purdue. Purdue. I would say, and I'll be specific. I love Purdue football, but Purdue basketball is my favorite. And if we're going Chicago teams, I mean, I am. Oh man. As of lately, it kind of depends on a Cubs fan for sure. Always been a Cubs fan, Bears fan, and I'll rank it. I grew up in the '90s, so I'm a Bulls fan. Like it's hard to. I don't hate the White Sox, and I am a Blackhawks fan as well. So,
You got the cap on.
Yep, it's kind of it depends on which decade we're talking about, but growing up it was basketball, it was the Bulls, and then in my 20s it was the Bears, and then in my 30s it was the Blackhawks when they were winning, and then the Cubs started winning. So I've had different decades of stuff. So it's been kind of fun.
And then car?
Ooh, car. We got to go back to that one. Man, I think I got to say it's a Porsche 911. I think those are the coolest cars. And mid 90s one. Give me that new updated body style. I'm a fan, like a 94. Red, of course.
Wow,
Yep.
amazing. And I have to say, and I try to not talk too much because that's why I interview people, but I'd have to say the Porsche Boxster is always one of my favorites, convertible.
Yep.
Saw a teacher's aid back in elementary school with one when I lived in Ohio, and I was like, I want to own one of those one day.
I just think they're neat with the rear engine and just the power and the rawness of them. I think it's the coolest thing. New ones are nice and fancy, but like the old ones are just a machine.
Definitely.
No driving aids on those things.
Definitely. And where can people go to find out more about AJ's? Obviously, I know the website, eatajs.com.
Yep.
I know that pretty well.
I'm sure you use it to order ahead.
Yes.
Yep.
Sometimes I call in, though. It's always delightful to call.
Nice. Eat AJ's on Instagram, X. I almost said Twitter there, and Facebook. Those are usually where we post everything about that's going on. We're about to have a new website is being worked on, and our mobile app. So there's some cool things coming, but we're trying to make it easier for customers to order AJ's in a cost-effective way. So that's where the website and the app come into play. So
Amazing.
yeah.
And obviously, if this is your first time listening to the show, the Craigslist founder on the show said he's going to have to check out AJ's if he's
Nice.
ever in town. So,
Well, I want him to know that I grew up using Craigslist to buy and sell a
and you
bunch
still
of
use it.
Yep. Every time I have a vehicle,
Cash.
every time I have a vehicle for sale, Craigslist is my go-to spot.
Wow. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining the
No problem.
show. Really appreciate all you've done.
Yeah.
And we can both agree on this one. Maybe not everything Chicago, but boiler up.
Oh, for sure. Boiler up.